Testing question that a couple from pool colleagues who
Sure.
be here. The president mentioned the other 500 million tests that
Yep.
are now in the works. Can you give us any sense on timeline when you're looking at contracts, when you're looking at delivery, when people will actually end up seeing them after they see this first $500 million?
Sure. So I had said earlier this week that we were looking to finalize our contracts for the first 500 million within the 2 weeks. I can give you an update that now we're at the point where we've procured about 380 million of those tests, and we're going to continue to build from there. So the plan is to, we feel we're making very strong progress, of course, and after we conclude this phase, we'll begin awarding contracts for today's announcement. We'll continue to proceed from there.
So can you give a rough ballpark on when that second $500 million might?
Not yet. We may be able to as we kind of proceed in the process, as we have done with the first 500 million, but I don't have a specific update yet at this point in time, just a status update on the first 500 million, and obviously when we conclude this phase, we'll move to the next 500 million.
You had mentioned earlier in the briefing that less than 10% of the population is now having trouble finding a test. Can you kind of...
So there was a recent poll. I'm happy to tweet it after the briefing if you'd like, to make it available to all of you. I think it was a YouGov poll.
We still see, we know how much you love anecdotal data, but people talking about the long waits, people talking about the CVS, et cetera, et cetera. The president made it a point to say testing has gotten so much better today, but that would be pretty stark if it's now 1 in 10 Americans claiming that they're
Well, I said a recent poll, which I think is just important to note because obviously what we've been doing to date and where we are at this point in time is 300 million tests every single month. That is a lot of tests. And sometimes you would think that no one is able to get a test and no one is being tested when nearly 12 million people are being tested every day. At the same time, as I have said, as the president has said, we want to do more and we are continuing to do more. And that's why we're running this expedited process to procure more tests to ensure they're free, they're accessible, and they're available to people across the country.
And two
Oh, go ahead.
radio pool colleague,